Hey, this is Erin Bradley here with Fairway Independent Mortgage and Pursuing Freedom. And I am so excited to bring this podcast to you today with my good friend and top producing real estate agent in Winter Park, Colorado, Jennifer Hughes with Real Estate of Winter Park. Before we get started, I do have to address my attire here because I think it's only fitting for this particular podcast. I had every intention after my hike today to get freshened up before I got into working. And unfortunately, if you're watching this, you can see that I did not. But I did run into two huge moose on my hike this morning, which derailed me a little bit and had my heart racing. But it was fun. It was adventurous, and it was very typical of a normal summer day in Colorado in Winter Park for any real estate agent, mortgage lender, and frankly, anybody who's here to enjoy what all Winter Park has to offer. So the cool part about that is that the topic of the interview today with my friend Jennifer Hughes is really just about that. It's about work hard, play harder. It's about work to live, don't live to work. And Jen embodies these philosophies more than anybody I've ever met. And she's inspired me since the day my family moved here full-time 2 years ago. She is phenomenally successful in her real estate business and has been for over 18 years. But she really has a zest for life that is magnetic, and it's her superpower. So it was really cool to transition my business from Denver, Colorado to the mountains and see that you really can have it all. You can have adventure, you can have fun, you can have a successful business, and you can do it all with a big, huge smile on your face. And that's what Jen is about. So I'm really excited to introduce you, Jen. And with no further ado, as always, we like to start with a little bit of background. First and foremost, I love your story. Tell us a little bit about where you're from, how you ended up here in Winter Park, Colorado, in a little ski town in the mountains. And tell us about how your journey into real estate and how we got to where we are today. So go ahead and take the floor there, friend.
Hi, Erin, everybody. First of all, I have to start by saying that I listening to your story about the moose, and it's exactly what I wanted to talk about today and speak to. And it's kind of like, even just looking at the two of us today, it's like we're like a human mullet, party in the back, business in the front, whatever. I'm actually working today in the office, and you got to go out and play. And again, that's just exactly what I think it's all about. But so a little bit about me. I grew up in a tiny town in New Hampshire. They're all tiny towns there, and went to University of Maine. And I was just always one of those kids that I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. Well, I never knew what I wanted to do at all, but I knew I should get an education. So I went to school and got into school and went to school and still had no idea what I wanted to do. So literally flipping through the catalog for the school one day, and I was like, holy crap, I can major in recreation. And like, sign me up. And then flipped a couple more pages, and I was like, wow, and I can minor in ski industries, and sign me up again. And so anyway, it was just perfect. I ended up, with a major in rec therapy, a minor in ski industries. I combined the two and came up with adaptive skiing, so skiing for folks with disabilities. In Winter Park, Colorado is the National Sports Center for the Disabled. It's world renowned, the best really, recreational program out there. And so I knew that's where I wanted to go after college to do my internship. The only problem was it was so far away in Colorado, and I just really was not going to, leave. I was going to be in New Hampshire for the rest of my life. So I got accepted to do an internship for 3 months, and I remember vividly driving cross country with my sister and thinking, oh, I'm so glad it's only 3 months. I mean, I already missed my boyfriend and my mom, and, I can't wait till the 3 months is up and I can come home. And so we're driving along. It's a long drive, 36 hours, 3 days. And we finally get to Colorado. And throughout that time, I'm having this conversation. I'm so glad it's only 3 months. And we got to Colorado, specifically Denver. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool, actually. This is cool here. But I'm so glad it's only 3 months. And then, drove up I-70 and came up and over Berthoud Pass and still, 22 years later, get goosebumps when I tell this story, but instantly came over the pass down into Warner Park, and I just instantly knew that this is where I was supposed to be. So, shortly after that, I picked up the phone and called my boyfriend and said, yeah, I'm not coming home. Anyway, just from day one, just knew that this is where I wanted to be. And every once in a while, I kind of get the bug and think, maybe I should go check out other ski areas and other areas in Colorado. And I would, and have a great day of skiing and enjoy, the town or whatever, but always just so grateful to come back to Winter Park as my home. So yeah, that was 22 years ago. And so that's my story on how I got to Colorado. As I mentioned, I had an internship with the Disabled Center because I had all my qualifications and everything. When I got here, there was one of the full-time staff people had to take a leave of absence to take care of his mom. It's a nonprofit organization. So as you know, if the money doesn't get, if somebody doesn't get it, then it just goes to waste. So the NSCD came to me and said, why don't you just, take his spot while he's gone, we'll pay you. And so then I was excited because I was getting paid to do my internship now. And then on top of it, he never came back. So for 5 years, I worked with that program. It was amazing. Just to be able to help people, change people's lives every single day was just so powerful. Unfortunately, those helping professions don't pay real well. So I was also working 3 other jobs at the time to, pay my bills, and literally got a call from a woman that I had bought a condo from. She was the realtor 2 years prior. She literally called me out of the blue and just said, I'm not really sure what you have going on in your life right now, but I'm at the point where I need an assistant in real estate. Would you be interested? And so I, of course, jumped at that opportunity. And so I like to say real estate kind of found me. I'm so glad that it did. But I wasn't really looking to be in real estate, but just turned out that the opportunity arose. And I thought, well, it's an opportunity. I should take advantage of it. And I did. I worked with that woman for about 1.5 years, and then she left the business. And so I went out on my own. And I was working with Century 21 at the time.
It's funny that you say that, because I don't know that I've spoken to anyone in our industry that didn't say that the industry found them, because for some reason, which is so interesting, because for so many of us, we absolutely love what we're doing and we love this business, and somehow, especially for someone like me, I bounced around jobs, locations, etc., because I'm just kind of a spontaneous person, and then got completely hooked with the mortgage business, 12 years ago. And I think that it's just because there's so much change every single day. No day is like the day before. It's very addicting in ways, but I've never known anyone who said, I just knew when I was 10 years old that I wanted to be a real estate agent.
Exactly.
And it's amazing.
Exactly. Yeah. Just yesterday, I was at a fifth grade graduation, and all the kids have their signs as to what they were going to be when they grow up. Not one realtor on there, not one lender on there. You're right. Nobody ever really thinks about, when I grow up, I want to be a realtor. Maybe some kids do, but I think most of us don't. So it does. It seems to find us. And like I said, I'm so grateful that it did. I can't imagine doing anything else that I enjoy as much. There's nothing else that I could imagine even in doing. But you are right. It is addictive, and that's, I think, a lot of what we're going to talk about today, is that it is very addictive, and it is a full-time job on top of being a real estate agent to make sure that you're not getting addicted to it, and that you're not working all the time, and that you are living a balanced life.
Awesome. Well, we're going to dig a little bit into some specifics here that hopefully those who are listening can get some takeaways to help them feel inspired to either keep going or get started, or, slow down and enjoy life a little bit more. So I just want to talk a little bit about my experience working with Jen, not only as my own personal real estate agent, but with so many mutual clients. Jen has a very, very extensive knowledge of this market. and has been very successful with helping buyers find that perfect property, even in very limited inventory, which is the market that we're in right now. She's also been in the business in this marketplace for through many different types of markets, right? So about 18 years in the business, she's been through it all, ups and downs, and starting a new company and being a part of launching a new business, real estate company here in town. And what I have found with the feedback I get from anyone who works with Jen is that somehow she magically makes every person that's working with her feel like they're number one. It's like she's got some unicorn power that everybody would seek to have. And the most amazing aspect of it to me is that while it may feel like to her clients that she makes herself available readily, and she does, and she makes everyone feel loved and really important, and that she's really passionate about making sure that her service level is always top notch. There's this other side to Jen, which is the Jennifer that goes for the 3-hour bike ride, or skis the powder day, or makes sure to get out for a run. And I love that because, like I said, you just inspired me in this work-life balance, which sometimes feels elusive in our industry. So I love to know, two things. One is, tell us a little bit about how you went about growing your business and navigating some of the challenges that the market presents, and sort of succeeding in spite of external factors. That's a big thing for me. Right now, we're experiencing some external factors, and I am really a big believer in mindset to help you succeed in every aspect of your life, in spite of external factors, right? Like, how do we respond to our circumstances? But more importantly, how do you manage to keep that balance and make sure that you're putting your health and your family and your, everything as a priority, right up there with making a living and serving others? I mean, you do it all so well, and I'm really impressed.
Well, thank you. I haven't always done it so well. In the beginning, I got sucked in. We, in our industry, we don't have a boss saying you need to show up at 9 and you clock in, and then you go to your lunch, and then you clock out. So it's easy to get caught up in it, right? And then on top of it, now we're living in an age where we are always available. These lovely smartphones, they're great. It's such a catch-22. But it's easy to get caught up in it, because if you don't, and also our society is so about instant gratification, right? So if you don't answer that call, literally they're going to hang up and call somebody else. And they're not going to wait for you to call back. It used to be that you get the message and you could call back the next day and whatever. And if you don't take the call now, you might have missed them. Certainly, if you don't call them back within an hour, they're probably, talking to somebody else. So you have to, a couple things. You have to, first of all, so let me just go back. So I wasn't always this way. In the beginning, all I did was work, and that's just a quick, easy way to get yourself burnt out. So I did learn early on. So I haven't always been this way, but I am a fast learner, thankfully, that it's super important to have that balance in your life. You want to work hard and be successful in business, but you also, just as importantly, if not more importantly, have to do a lot of self-care and take care of yourself. So the number one thing is to first of all, be okay that, you're not going to get them all. If that person calls you and they don't want to leave a message and they're on to somebody else, or they can't wait for you, then it's okay. That wasn't meant to be, and they're going to work with somebody else, and you'll get the next one that comes. So you can't be so desperate to try to get every single one. There's plenty of business to go around. And if you miss a call because you're doing something to take care of yourself, it's okay. And so on top of that, then you have to schedule that time to do that. I promise you, if you don't schedule it, if you don't make a commitment, and I'm not saying you have to sit down a month at a time and schedule everything in, or a week at a time, and maybe it's just the day before or the morning of that you're like, okay, I'm going to take this time today. If you don't schedule that time, it won't happen. And I think also too, something for me that, coming from a job where I had days that I worked and then I had days off. And so your fun things always happened on your days off. And so in the beginning, when I first started, I thought I have to take a day off in order to do something fun. And what I learned, and I'm so blessed that I get to do what I do every day where I live, because what I've learned is that if you have an hour and a half, jump on your bike and go for a bike ride. And so, or go, grab your skis and go out for a couple of turns. You don't need a whole day to do something fun for yourself. When you have time, take it. But truthfully, it's so important to just schedule that time. And people will respect it when they call and say, hey, we want to come up today, and that's fine. I can meet with you anytime after 10. I have appointments before then. People respect that. They don't say, oh, really? Do you have an appointment, or are you actually going to go ski for a couple hours? Because it really is an appointment. And then if you put it in your calendar and you schedule it, it does become an appointment. And it's just so important to do. Otherwise, it won't happen. As far as, taking time to take care of yourself. So there's always going to be that call. There's always going to be that one more thing that you have to do. But if you have it scheduled, and I've also found too that it helps to schedule stuff with other people as well, because it's easier for me to just, if I'm going to go out on my own, to just say, oh, I don't really need to do that. But if there's somebody else waiting for me, then, it's harder for me to just back out on that. So truly believe that it's just super important to take time to do the self-care that you need, whatever it is, whether it's a bike ride or skiing or, taking an art class or a pottery class or whatever it is that feeds your soul other than your work. It's just ultra important to just be committed to making that happen. Does that do?
Well, I think that
like maybe you guys.
No, it was so good. It was so good. I took so many notes that I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many good things that you just said that are so spot on. I first and foremost, I do want to back up a bit to one thing that I do wonder about this, because when I got started in the mortgage business, so at first it's like, I'm so hungry. I'm hungry. I am desperate. Like I need to get started,
right.
and I have no idea how. So I'm going to do whatever it takes, which means I'm going to do everything and anything to just find some strategy that I can attach to that will click, because I know I'm going to be good at this, but I don't know how long the suffering is going to take. So when I, eventually then it clicks, and then all of a sudden the volume is coming in. And then you're so grateful for the volume, because now you can pay your bills and you can pay off your debt and all this stuff. And so you're so grateful for the volume that you trade all your time for work, because you feel so lucky to finally be busy, and you're so afraid to ever be broke again. So sometimes when I talk to newbies in our business, and I'm so passionate about the fact that if I don't have the time to focus on my health, for example, or my relationships, my family, if I allow those things to be compromised, I'm going to be a lesser version of myself when I am with my clients.
That's exactly right.
And I know that now, and I give that advice to newbies in the business. But then I have to wonder, is there any other way to get started in our business without going all out, like pedal to the metal? Well, I don't know.
And that's a great question. And it's funny, because I was thinking about this when I was thinking about us talking today, and you're right. The hard part when you're just beginning is that you're starting, with really nothing, and you've made this giant leap to go to this business where you are 100% commission based, and you're hungry. And so I think there is, yes, you're going to put in, more hours and more time. But I think it's still important, whether it's even just, twice a week for an hour, you schedule something for yourself. You can do that and still work a lot of other hours and still work really hard. And more than working hard, this is like a key thing that I finally got to, is not so much working hard, but working smart, right? Like I think about this all the time. It's kind of like the theory of how stuff will, if you have a closet and it's empty, all of a sudden it's full, like it'll expand, right, to be full. But oh crap, I just forgot what I was saying. Oh,
well, just about working
smart,
hard, not smart.
Right. So working smart, not necessarily hard. So what I was thinking about was, if I plan on so we have floor time, right, in our office, where we have to go and be there to answer calls and people walking in and that sort of stuff. And it is amazing to me that, so I'm there for, 5 hours at a time. And at the end of that 5 hours, if I go back and look what I got done, I guarantee you I could have done all of that work in 2 hours if I just sat down and worked smart. But you know what? I'm in the office and I love the people that I work with. And so we're chit-chatting, and then somebody has a question about a transaction that's going on or a new property that's coming up or whatever. And so you just get distracted, or you're just wasting time. And, you're like, oh, I got this Facebook pop-up thing. And so I'm going to, so not so much working hard. I wish when I was starting, I knew how to work smart rather than just work hard. To me, it was like working hard was just putting in, all these hours at the office. Well, that really was not smart working, because I guarantee you I was not, being productive that entire time. So I think that's a big piece of advice too for new agents is figure out how to work smart, be productive with your time. If that means going in the office and shutting your door to your office and not being antisocial, but just really focusing on, like, I'm here to work, and I've got this amount of time to get it done, because then I want to go for a bike ride, or I skied this morning, and so now I got to get home or get back to the office and really buckle down and get this stuff done. So I see what you're saying, and I think it's a great question. Like, can you start in this business and not just work 24/7 and still be successful? And I really believe that you can. You absolutely can. I know you can. You just have to make it happen. Yeah.
So you just hit the nail on the head, because when I'm coaching people in our industry, and not just newbies, but folks that have lost their spark, they've been in the business, for 15 years, 20 years, whatever. Yeah. And they've lost their spark. And then we talk about what's going on, and they talk about, they're working 50 hours a week, and they're closing 2 or 3 transactions a month. And so my first question is, well, before we do anything, we're going to really talk about what exactly are you doing during those 50 hours, and how much of that is actual productive time. Because sitting at your office and clocking in and putting in the full 8 hours, because that's what we've accepted from societal norm, is that if we don't clock in at 8 and leave at 5, we didn't do a full day. And then spending all these hours responding to emails and, filing our emails and doing all these things that really are just avoiding the critical activities that we need to do to actually create a sustainable business. You're 100% right, because one of the things that I do is when I look at what I want to get done in a day. So I think I think you are like me, where, you're really committed to having a good morning routine before you allow the day to start running you. You map out your day, you know what you need to get done, you know what the critical items are. I call these things, I learned from a book called The Power of Less. I call them the MIPs, the most important tasks of my day. Right. And most days I don't allow myself to have more than 3 MIPs, most important tasks. So in the morning, I want to map out what exactly do I need to do today to make sure that I've won the day, knowing that all the reactive stuff is going to fill in around it. And then I write next to what I plan to do, I write down exactly how much I estimate that task should take. So for example, if I'm going to call 5 past clients today just to check in and say hello, typically, if I connect with them and we end up having a chit chat, it will never take more than 1 hour. It could never take more than 20 minutes per call if all 5 people answer. So if I carve out 1 hour, I can definitely get through those 5 past client calls. And if I want to do handwritten notes and I want to do 5 of those, it's typically going to take me about 30 minutes. And then I can figure out, I also wanted to work on this project that's going to take me a total of an hour. That's 2.5 hours of productive time that I know that if I carve that out, whether I give myself a treat of going for a bike ride or a ski or a run or a walk or a hike or a swim or whatever you want to call it first, or whether I do it after as the reward, either way, when I'm out there in nature, I know that this, like, I'm gonna be more productive because I'm so grateful for the opportunity to live this life. And when I then go to accomplish those activities, I'm so full of joy. I'm so much happier. I'm more alive because I am taking care of myself.
And you're right. It's interesting too how, well, first of all, you're right. You can get so much done in 2.5 hours if you're just working smart. But it's interesting how if you carve out that time for yourself before your tasks, you get to your task and you're like crushing it because you've already crushed it this morning. You got up and you went for a run, or you skied powder with your friends, or whatever. You made that, number one, you made the time to do that for yourself, and then you went out and did something super fun. And so your energy level is so high that when you get to do those tasks, and whoever it is that you're talking to, without being like, oh my gosh, it was amazing, I went out and skied this morning, you don't have to say that. They're gonna get your feed off of your energy. You know, even if you don't say why you're so excited, they're gonna feel that energy coming from you. Vice versa, if you do all your tasks ahead of time, then by the time you go out to do your self-care, you crushed work. So now you're going to go crush whatever it is that you're doing. Like so it doesn't really matter where it fits in. It's just good energy that you're bringing to, when you go out and play and then you come back and you bring that energy to your work, it's palpable. People feel that and they want to be a part of it. And the fun thing about what I do every day is I'm a total real estate geek. I love real estate. I geek out on it in general. I always kind of have. We'd see an open house line as a kid and I'd be like, oh mom, can we go? And whatever. So I do love real estate. And on top of it, most of the buyers that I'm working with are second home people. They live down in Denver or maybe out of state somewhere. And they want to buy a place up here so they can, live the life that, I'm kind of preaching, which is about balance, right? So not only do I believe in balance being so important in my life, but the fun thing is that what I do for a living is I get to help people make that happen in their lives. So it's so fun. But you're right. It's the energy of, crushing your work life translates into your play life, and crushing your play life translates into your work life. And it's just a good, energy to keep flowing all the time. It's just important. It's just, yeah.
Well, and I think it's really, really good advice, regardless of what market the listener is in, because some people might say, well, that's fine because you live in a ski town and it's more laid back. And it's like, no, we are doing tons of volume here. We are working and closing a large number of units per year, right? I mean, you individually, my team as well. And so I think that what we're preaching here is completely independent of your market. It's about energy. It's about creating the space to feed your soul so that you can be operating at your happiest, highest, most magnetic level to ultimately attract the success you're seeking. And if people aren't doing that, it's not about the market. It's not about the location.
It's not about our geography. Like I said in the beginning, maybe a bike ride sounds awful to you, and it's about you want to go take that pottery class or that poetry class or whatever, whatever it is that feeds your soul, and find that whatever your surroundings are, find whatever it is besides. I feel so lucky because my work also feeds my soul, but the reality is I'm not independently wealthy. I do have to work to make a living, and I want to be successful at that. But I also realize that in order to be successful in business, I need to be successful in life and take time to do the other things in my world that feed my soul, and whatever that is. And that's maybe a start, is try to figure out what that is. What is it that you're passionate about? What is it that makes your heart race thinking about when you're going to go do it, and that you're super excited about? And some people don't know that, and I would encourage you to take time to figure that out, and then take the time to do those things that bring, that fill your cup in a way other than just work does.
What's funny about that is that Right. Well, what's funny about that too is I would bet that, you know, the majority of the listeners here would laugh if I were to say, you know, anytime you want to see a spike in your business, just plan a vacation. Because there is some, so we laugh about that, right? You know, you're about to go on a cruise off the grid for a week and your business has been pretty well under control. Everything seems like everything's good to go. And then 3 days before you take off, all of a sudden you have 2 new listings, 5 new buyers.
Every time.
And so
Every time.
you know what? But you know why? It's because I really do believe that when you are at your happiest and you're excited and you're looking forward to something, all of a sudden that energy level is magnetic and you do attract that business that you're seeking.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. And so that's exactly one of my other points I was going to make is that so many people work until the next vacation, right? And then you're right, they get that energy, they get that excitement, and people feed off of it, and then their business explodes. Well, you can do that every single day on a smaller level. You know, maybe, you know, you're not like as explosive as I'm going on this amazing vacation, but you're like, wow, that was a great run that I just went on, and I ran into a moose, and you know what I mean? And so I would encourage people to, especially in our business, to find those small daily things so that you're not working for the next vacation. You know, you can get those small things every day. And I mean, don't get me wrong, the big vacations are also important, but you don't need to, you can find that excitement on a lesser level, on a daily basis. And again, whatever it is that feeds your soul in another way, find it and make it happen. And I promise you, it will help your business world like leaps and bounds. And vice versa, you know, we're talking about all this great energy that people feed off of. They also get it when your energy's low and when you're in that funk and when you're feeling a little burnt out, and they pick up on that as well. So, you know, it's just as important to, you know, keep that low energy at bay as it is to, you know, keep the good energy, you know, high as well. I don't know if that makes sense, but they definitely feel, I can feel when your energy is low too. Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%. And I've been there. I've burned out. I've burned out. I've seen my business dry up as a result of it. I've had to re-energize myself, get fired up. And I've been telling so many of my coaching clients recently that I have never been happier or having more fun in my business than I have in the past few years. And I'm sure that a part of that has to do with my environment, but I think a big part of it is realizing that I do find joy in every day. And if I can find joy in every day and let that joy be passed on to anyone I encounter, whether it be my friends, my family, my clients, my colleagues, then I know that in a weird way I cannot fail, right? Like you can't fail. You're not going to go out of business if you can find joy in every day.
Joy and gratitude every day. And you're not going to fail. You're not going to go out of business. 100%. 100%. And,
I know there's for example, sorry, I was just going to say that.
No.
I've heard so many. I know so many people in our industry that operate on this by this philosophy, and I've seen real estate agents take what they're passionate about, whether that be CrossFit, whether that be happy hour, wine tasting, sushi. I mean, you name it, anything. I've seen people take that passion and turn that into how they grow their business. And so that is really special. I think that we sometimes miss the boat in that we think about this. It all goes back to this. Okay, I've got to go log the hours. I'm going to log the hours, and some of the activities I'm going to do are going to be dreadful. Why not take your joy and translate that into whatever activities you're going to do to grow your business? Because now you're experiencing the joys in your life, whether that be being a mom, whether it be, I mean, you name it. It's anything. It could be rafting. It could be, I don't know. It could be floral design. It could be architecture.
Anything.
What do you love?
Yes.
And then how do you get so excited about what you love that you create an energy around that ultimately you don't even have to talk about real estate sometimes if you're just on fire and you're excited and you're engaging with the community and you're creating energy around your passion. There's so much that you can do. And we don't have time to get into all the different strategies, but I've seen people go from I'm doing what they say I should do, which is the traditional sales strategies, and it's dreadful for me, and I'm just like trudging along. Is that a word?
Going
Trudging?
through the motions.
What is the word?
I think it's a word. It's a word.
I'm going to call that a word.
Today
we're going to call that a word.
Is a word. Yeah.
It's a word. Just trudging along. I don't even know what word I'm looking for.
I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
So all of a sudden the real estate business is becoming hard, right? It's just it's hard. And then I've seen folks attached to whatever that excites them and somehow create community around it or create, social media around that or whatever. And all of a sudden their business is growing as a byproduct of loving life. And that is what I think is amazing.
Exactly. It couldn't be any truer. You're exactly right. It's so true. I mean, just one example that I can think of is when I go skiing, I've got my business cards in my pocket, because I love to ski. There's nothing I love to do more than skiing. And so when I'm on the chairlift and I'm talking to somebody about, wow, it's so great and it's skiing and and not even thinking about real estate, the next question is, oh, how was the drive up this morning? Oh, I didn't drive up. I live here. Oh, you live here? What do you do? Oh, I sell real estate. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy because but you're right. It's just, you just create that energy around what you love to do, and business really does come of it. And on top of it, then, like you said, you're excited about your business, like I said, we have to work. Well, most of us do. I do. And so it should be fun, and that would be advice I would give to new agents too, is to have fun, to not take it so seriously. And to have fun. And gosh, we're so lucky up here. It's easy because we're helping people literally make their dreams come true of living a more balanced life, of having a place in the mountains to spend time with their families. We're helping them make that happen. And that's fun. Like, just don't take it quite so seriously, and let go of the outcome and just have fun and be of good service to your, to me, it's about the service that I'm providing more than, listen, we all like to get paid. Getting that commission check at the end is fun, but it's about the service that I'm providing and about helping people make their dreams come true. That's really fun. Have fun with it. It's a really fun thing that we get to do every day. Yeah.
I just wrote it down. I think that's it. That's the key, is that the biggest takeaway, I think, from this interview, which has been one of my favorite by far, is that business comes as a byproduct. I'm just like a player.
I know. I'm your favorite. I know I'm really your favorite.
Well, you are my spirit animal, so there's that.
I know.
So I love this. I think that the success of your business will come as a byproduct of loving life, combined with amazing customer service and honest, sincere intention to help others. It's both of those things.
Sincerity is key. Honesty is key. I always say, I work as though I need enough money because I'm going to live forever. And I play like tomorrow is going to be my last day on earth. And that sounds like two polar opposites, and it is. But if I can live right in the middle of those two things, then I'm in balance. And that's where I need to be for myself, for my relationships, and just as importantly, for my business and to be successful in my business.
Oh my gosh. I love you so much. I'm going to
tweet it.
I'm going to work. I work like I'm going to live forever, but I play like tomorrow could be my last. Oh my gosh. That is poetry. Yes, you should be like some kind of philosopher or something.
I should have gone into philosophy, not real estate. Yes. No, but
oh
it's so
my
true.
gosh.
It really is true. Tomorrow is not promised to any of us. And wouldn't it be a shame if, it was the last day and we weren't out playing?
I love it. All right. Well, I love you as a human. I think you're an amazing real estate professional. I think you're you inspire many in so many ways, and I'm glad that you had the time to be on the podcast.
It has been my pleasure, and thank you too for all of your inspiration. You inspire all of us every day, and I just truly appreciate you and all of your good energy.
All right. Well, here's to more fun and more life and more living and all that good stuff.
Let's go.
All right, Jennifer Hughes. All right, let's do this.
Erin. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.